Yo, what's up, guys? Mike Thomas, aka the Young Trishula here, and as promised, I am back today with a much-awaited Dragon Link combo guide. So what this video is going to be is it's going to be showing off a really powerful and really cool combo that you can do with Dragon Link in the current TCG. And the way that I'm going to be showing this video is it's going to be pretty much just like a linear set path as to like how to do this combo. Because I see a lot of people always joke, it's like, oh, Dragons is just Seals Pass, or like Borland plus Savage and Pass, and like, that's all it does. I'm like, no, it doesn't do that. That's not at all what you do with this deck. And, you know, there's a lot of ways to do what I'm going to show you. Like, there's a lot of different pathings to do what I'm going to show you. But I did just want to show off some just consistent linear ways to do it, just so you get a feel for like how you might be able to play this deck, because I don't think a lot of people know that you can do as much as I'm going to show you with Dragon Link. Maybe they thought the deck was hit too much, maybe they just thought it wasn't possible, but I do just want to show off some ways to play the deck that you might not have seen before. As always, remember to like, comment, and subscribe on the video, but also to check us out on the Top Cut podcast. We did just join that, or to check out the untap.gg link down in the description if you do play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and download the Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck Tracker. It's completely free. You know, all you have to do is just download it using my link, and you know, I get a little bit of support for that. So if you want an easy, quick way to support me that doesn't cost you anything at all, just go check that out. The link will be in the description. So without any further ado, let's just hop on over. I'm with Twitch chat today, by the way. They can say hi if they want to, and I'm just going to switch over and share my screen. So here we are on Dueling Book. So this is the opening hand that you're going to want to look for, or something similar to it. As I said, there are multiple ways to do this, but this is just the easiest opening hand that will make this board, and will do so consistently every time. And I'm just going to walk you through this and also talk about how this board kind of can play through various disruption too, because you might think that this combo just like auto dies to one or two hand traps, but it really doesn't. It actually plays through quite a bit, and would allow you to pivot into other plays if you do get interrupted. So you're going to start off with Black Metal Dragon, and you're going to link off for the Striker and grab your Red MD and your Boot Sector. And you're going to summon out your Red MD, get back Black Metal. Pretty standard so far. We're going to go for Lubellion, grab Magnemite, as you normally would. And you're also going to special out the Lubellion by tributing over the Red MD, use Lubellion to get the Beast, and now you're already set up. So this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is your 5th summon. So this is your first Nibiru checkpoint, right? So a lot of players, they might not want you to get this Lubellion to activate and get your potential branded beast, especially after you added Magnemite. So this is the first point where you can check to see if they have Nibiru. Because if they have no other hand traps, they might just nib you here, and just trying to get this off the field, and then of course you can full combo them from there, because that's a very early point to nib you. So they probably won't nib you here, realistically speaking, so you will probably get to this branded beast, which will help you play through a nib if you do get nibbed, because you do have that Druid Worm plus branded beast insurance. But not only that, too, this helps you play around Impermanent Veiler, because if you haven't already been through your Romulus, you know, they might just be holding those cards for that. So they have to pick between Lubellion and Romulus if you're putting this out this early. Something also to note is that you can summon this Lubellion out later in the combo as well, but I like to do it here just to check for hand traps. So let's go for the Romulus, and now we're going to add Black Meteor Dragon and the Dragon Ravine. So this is why I didn't bring this up in my previous deck profile, is that I'm not currently playing Meteor Dragon in my current TCG list, or at least not the one that I played most recently. So just so that you're aware, you do need to be playing this to do this combo in the way that I'm showing. Though the end board that I'm going to show off, you can still make without using the Meteor Dragon, just not in the way that I'm going to show you. So then you're going to special out your Wyver, and I'm choosing Wyver very specifically here just because of, you know, where we are in the combo. This could be something like Quick Launch, for example. Like, you just need to be able to summon something to Romulus' zone, make your Pisty. But Wyver is just, again, the easiest way to do this for what we need for the combo. And you're going to make Pisty. Now, this is where the combo gets interesting. So we're going to go, as always, we're going to search our Wyver Burster, but we're going to trigger Romulus's secret effect. Romulus has a second effect that you might not know about other than adding Dragon Ravine, which is that if a dragon monster is special summoned from the extra deck to a zone it points to, very specific criteria, it can summon a dragon or wing beast from your hand in defense position. I put in an attack, but summons in defense, and its effects are negated, and it cannot be used for link material. This is very important because, and I'm going to pause to explain this because I already can see the YouTube comments coming in, is that you can special this from your hand using Romulus, not itself. Notice how I did not send Driver from my deck to the graveyard. This is a level 6 dragon that increases its level to level 7 if you summon it by its own summoning condition. If you summon it with Romulus, it is a level 6 dragon. So now we're going to add our Collapse Servant, and that level 6 dragon is going to become very important because now we can summon Magma, use Magma for end phase, and overlay it for Atom. This would not be possible if we did not trigger Romulus's effect to summon the meteor from our hand. So, if you're following along, you need to remember to use Romulus to cheat out the meteor dragon, because if you summon it using its own summoning condition, it is a level 7 and it cannot be used for Atom. This is very important. And so now you're going to use Atom, and you're going to summon out your Absoraptor. This is, again, another Nibiru checkpoint, is either on the Atom or on the Absoraptor, because if they have Nib, they don't want you to activate Atom, and if they let you get there, they don't want to Nib you now, because now you're going to get your search. So they're going to hold it even longer. So this is another good Nibiru checkpoint. And if they do nib you, you're fine because you still have this Collapse in your hand. You still have Dragon Ravine to search Tracer. You still have Beast. You still have a lot of stuff going on for you. So you're still totally fine into nib. So we're going to link off into the Triple Burst and grab our Tracer off of that Absoraptor. And we're going to use Pisty and get back Striker. This is extremely important. You cannot summon any other monster other than Striker. If you summon anything else, this combo will not work. This is also another important step, is you cannot link the Pisty off of your board. You must use the Atom or another monster. Pisty must remain on your field, and you'll see why in a moment. So then you're going to go for Boot Sector, special out your Tracer, and then you are going to pop, summon your Recharger from deck, and you're going to Synchro for Savage Dragon. Now, this might seem a little bit strange to you guys because you're like, well, what's going on? Why are we just floating Pisty and Striker? Why are we already making Savage? Are we done? We never even used Collapse. You're not done. This is your last Nibiru checkpoint. If they don't nib you here, you're not getting nibbed. Unless they also have Imperm. So, you're going to equip the Romulus. And this, again, might strike you as weird. And you're going to say, Trish, but there's a Triple Burst in your graveyard. Isn't Triple Burst a bigger monster? Why wouldn't you equip that? This is why it's important to keep Pisty on the field. We are now going to Striker effect, target the Pisty, destroy it, and add Recharger to our hand. We will now use Recharger because a Dark Dragon from the extra deck was destroyed to now discard itself and summon back a different dark monster from our graveyard. We're going to choose the Triple Burst because it is a Link 3. We will then summon the Collapse out from our hand, and it can, again, this could be anything. It's just the way that we're doing this. We're using the Wyver Burster, and now we're going to make our Borland Dragon. So the reason why all of this matters so much is that the Pisty has to be summoned from... The Pisty was summoned from the extra deck. Striker was summoned from the Banished Zone. So you cannot use Striker Dragon to target yourself and trigger the Recharger. If you Striker pop yourself and say you linked off this Pisty, Recharger just sits in your hand and doesn't activate. If you equip the Triple Burst with your Savage, you now can't get that Link 3 body to make your Borland. So you need to be very specific with your steps to make sure that you do not end up in a position that you have cut yourself off from resources that you need. Another interesting thing to note here is we have not used our borderline dragon. So this is partly how you can make this board using, variations on this like pathing, because we never used the borderland. The only reason we really made the savage was just to check for a nib and also to put recharger in the grave. There are ways that you can do this combo and, be able to switch around some of the material and use borderland to negate something, but you might just end up with a random recharger on field or something that doesn't really do anything for you. So if you sequence incorrectly, you might just be floating material, and that just looks kind of awkward. Now, where this is interesting is that we never used our Dragon Ravine. So if you did get hand trapped somewhere, you can always search for a piece through Dragon Ravine, for example. So like if your Atum got negated, for example, you might just be able to Dragon Ravine into the Tracer that way, right? So the Atum actually doesn't really even matter that much. It can get impermed and you're fine, because you can still get there. So what I end up doing just in this replay to show you is that if you get this far without getting interrupted, and you follow this exactly, you can just freely dump the Saronir and grab the regain for next turn and grab your Jurisworm off Magnemite. But what the caveat here is that because you have that freedom, this could dump just about anything. If you had the Saronir at some point, like maybe you started on it, this could dump Lubellion instead, for example. The Dragon Ravine gives you some flexibility. So like you don't have to hard open the Lubellion. You could just open, Magnemite and get the same place. You could also just open Saronir, get the same place. So just keep that in mind, is that this combo is a little bit flexible. But that's not all. There's actually another pathing that you can do that ends on a slightly better board with the exact same 3 cards. Though this other combo is a little bit less flexible than the one I just showed you, but it's going to be pretty similar. But it is going to just be a little bit less flexible, meaning that if you do get disrupted, things might go a little bit more wrong for you. So let's switch on over to that real quick, and I'm just going to have to switch scenes around just very briefly, so just bear with me for a moment, because we are doing this live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/TrishulaTTV. Come check us out. We have all of the fun over there. That is where not only all this content gets recorded, but that is also just where we hang out pretty much every single day. We're live all the time, usually with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, but other Yu-Gi-Oh! Content as well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Adjacent content. Sometimes we play Hearthstone if I really hate myself that day. So here we go. So we are back once again with the same hand, the Black Metal Lubellion Wyver Burster. The replay just started playing a little bit without me because I was just resetting up. And it's going to start out much the same way. You're just going to go normal summon Black Metal into your Red MD, get your Magnemite with your Lubellion, all the same steps. But this time, the difference is that you are going to activate Regained instead of activating Beast. And this is going to be important later. With how this combo is pathed specifically, you cannot activate Beast because you have a little bit less flexibility. So we're going to go for Romulus, and you're again going to get your Meteor, get your Dragon Ravine, and you're going to summon your Wyver Burster out. You're going to summon your Pisty, and you are again going to trigger Romulus' secret effect. I'm going to again emphasize we are summoning Meteor Dragon using the effect of Dragoonity Knight Romulus to the field. This is a level 6 monster. And we're going to add Collapse to our hand. We're going to summon the Magnemite again, and we're going to effect for end phase, and we're going to summon Atum. Now, Atum is going to do something different this time. We're going to summon Seifert from our deck. And you might be wondering, okay, that's interesting. What is Seifert going to do? And the answer is nothing. It's just going to sit there for a while. So you're going to go up into Triple Burst, go for your Pisty, get back your Striker the same way you did before. And next you're going to summon the Collapse Serpent by banishing the Wyver and use Regain to put back the Wyver. And then you're going to draw a random card. I just add Ash Blossom here because after 3 attempts at making this replay, I was tired of drawing cards that I needed and having to restart the replay. So we're just going to get the Ash Blossom out, and so it can be any random card. It doesn't really matter. And so the thing here is that because of this play, this hand actually does require you to have specifically the Wyverburster, the Lubellion, and the Black Metal. So with the last combo, you were getting like that crazy board, but you had a little bit of flexibility. This one has no flexibility. You need exactly these 3 cards, and you need to do everything perfectly in sequence. So we're going to summon out the Collapse, and we're going to then link the Collapse and the Triple Burst off into the seals and grab the Wyverburster now. So the reason why we're doing this is that we need something to tribute from hand to search Tracer with the Safer. Now, of course, if you just randomly already have Tracer in hand, you can kind of skip that step. Like if one of these Ash Blossoms already was the Tracer, you can skip that step, and then that's where your flexibility comes in. But because you don't know what those cards are, just for the linear way to do it, this is what you have to do. So then from here, it's going to be kind of similar. You're going to summon out the Tracer. Tracer's going to pop. You're going to get your Recharger again. And you are again going to synchro off with the Savage using those 2. Again, the Safer, it's just going to sit there. It's not really doing much of anything. And you're going to get the Romulus again, because again, we're going to go for the Triple Burst. And then you're going to pop, go for the Recharger. The same play as before. And now you can already see we have the bodies on field to make our Borland. And now you might be wondering, okay, this kind of looks worse. This is the same board, right? Well, the reason why we're doing this is I just want to show off an application for Rocket Caliber, because a lot of people ask me, it's like, do you ever miss Caliber? And the answer is usually no, except in this exact line. Caliber can be used when you open this combo to summon it from your hand. It's just a searchable extender, and then you can special out and you can go for your IP Masquerena for free. Here. So with the same 3-card combination, instead of having Beast, Regain, Seals, Borland, Savage, you can go for Seals, Borland, IP, Savage, and Regain. So you're trading the Beast for the IP. The IP can alternatively be SP if you maybe cut the IP Masquerena, or you can just go for the IP into SP. So both are perfectly valid. But I just wanted to point these out because these are 2 different ways to end on very similar boards with the same hand. But what's cool about this specific sequencing is instead of ending on 2 cards in hand, you end on 4. So you get the big board, but you have 4 cards in hand, which might threaten a little bit more follow-up. And because we don't know what these cards are, maybe if they're extenders, you might be able to play through a hand trap or 2. You might be able to, change stuff around. But just the threat that you might be able to just pass on this board with 4 cards in hand off of a linear 3-card combo is very, very scary. A lot of people might just scoop right there because, they'll draw for turn and they're like, how many cards are in your hand again? And you'll just look at them and be like, oh, 4, 5. And some people just pick up their cards right there. That has happened to me before, where I've passed on boards that look like this, and my opponent will ask me, how many cards are in your hand again? 1? Because, my hand, I might just, fold my hand together and just set it over to the side, and, they're just looking, and it's like, it looks like 1 card to them, and then it's like, oh, what? No, my hand, and you fan it out, and it's like, I have 4 cards in hand. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I'm scooping. There's no way. I was like, okay, we go next. So these are just some combos that you can keep in mind. I don't think that these are always the combos that you should be going for every single game, or that definitely not saying that this is going to happen to you all the time, but I usually do something like this at least once per event. Sometimes more often. So it's definitely something that's good to have in your back pocket, because when this happens, it's pretty much auto win. I mean, there's very little in the game that can crack all of this. So yeah, when you see it, it's basically Exodia. So it's a good thing to keep in the back of your mind, but that's about all for me. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.